Greetings to everyone out there in YouTube land. I'm Ahmed Hassanin, and I just want to give a shout out to Coach Dan. Thank you for all the support you show the team and the players. Everyone hit the like, subscription button, and yell woo in the comments. Thank you, and go Lions.
What's going on, guys? It is Aiden Hutchinson.
What's up, man? It's your boy Amon-Ra St. Brown.
What's up to Lion Talk Live? So we love you too, buddy.
What's up, everybody? It's Calvin Johnson Jr. here, a.k.a. Megatron, a.k.a. First Ballot.
Greetings and salutations to everyone out there in YouTube land. This is Dan Skipper, offensive weapon for the Detroit Lions. Make sure you all help support Lions Talk Live, Coach Dan, by clicking on that like and subscribe button. Everybody, woo!
Well, greetings and salutations to everybody out there in YouTube land. I am your host, once again, Dan Thornton, and I want to thank you all for joining us here today. Lions Talk Live. It is the day after the Green Bay Packers may have put a big nail in the Detroit Lions' hopes or futures for making the NFL playoffs. We'll have to see with 5 games to go, but let's face it, the playoffs are here for the Detroit Lions. Every game from here on out isn't just big, it is monumental. At best, maybe you can lose one more game and still get into the NFL playoffs. The good part, I guess, if you're a Detroit Lions fan, some of these games are winnable. Yes, we all can probably understand the Dallas Cowboys are on fire right now. You're going to have to pull off a big win there. And then you're going to have a mini bye, 10 days to get ready. Maybe get Frank Ragnow, maybe get somebody else back to try to help out against the Rams. If somehow the Lions can go one-on-one in those next 2 games, maybe those final games mean something, because we get it. The Pittsburgh Steelers aren't the iron curtain, steel curtain, whatever you want to call it, curtain that they were in the past. They do have some weaknesses. Aaron Rodgers is showing some signs of age without a shadow of a doubt. And then you get the Minnesota Vikings, you get the Chicago Bears. If I'm the NFL, anybody wants to say, hey, I got tinfoil on my head and say that the NFL is rigged or scripted, I don't think it's going to get much better than Detroit at Chicago to end the regular season. Winner gets in the playoffs. Loser, hey, you're packing up and heading home. Ben Johnson, former offensive coordinator, against Dan Campbell, the former teacher, or however you want to word it. We'll have to see how this plays out, but we're going to analyze this a little bit more during the main top of the day. There was some good, a whole lot of bad in yesterday, and yes, there is blame to go around. I know, boy, as soon as the game was over, I probably got about 4,732.9 texts. And no, it was the holidays. It was Thanksgiving. I couldn't respond to everybody. I tried to just simply say, hey, sorry, guys. I'll have to wait for the morning. I'm with family now. Can't really talk right now. So here we are. You got your opportunity to talk. You got an opportunity to dive into it. What are your thoughts? I understand as a coach, it's hard once you get up here to maintain it. The NFL, or pro sports, maybe that's a better way to put it, is designed to try to level the playing field. NFL does a great job with it, with first place schedule, second place schedule, third place schedule, fourth place schedule, because it does impact things. We could all probably agree to a certain degree. I know, and this is no disrespect towards the Chicago Bears. If the Detroit Lions this year had the Chicago Bears schedule, they probably would be somewhere around 8 or 9 wins here today. That's not the case, though. We also understand that's why you have the draft order. The worst teams have an opportunity to get better teams. You also understand that you need those draft picks to hit. And yes, there's going to be a whole lot of people today saying that if 2 seasons ago, if we wouldn't have drafted Giovanni Manu, if we would have taken somebody else there, we'd have had somebody more impactful, or Hendon Hooker, or whoever else you want to list that hasn't panned out. That's accurate. But in defense of Brad Holmes, and I'm not going to defend him on some things today, I can say this. He's drafted as well as anybody in the NFL. Nobody bats 1,000 on draft picks. Nobody bats 900 or 800. You guys get the saying. The Lions have rolled the dice on some draft picks that haven't panned out. The Lions made some trades that, at least as of today, haven't gone your way. And yes, there's the other side of it too. MCDC has rolled the dice on a whole lot of fourth down calls that haven't gone their way. What was the biggest difference yesterday? I'll throw this out at you guys. I thought the Lions overall played fairly even with the Green Bay Packers, other than fourth down. The Packers didn't miss on a fourth down. We couldn't hit on a fourth down. And to me, that was the deciding factor of the game. You guys all understand it. You've seen it. The Packers got a couple touchdowns on fourth down calls. Lions got slammed in the backfield on a whole lot of fourth down calls. Well, was that ultimately the impact of the game, the deciding factor? Maybe, but we're going to analyze this all during the main topic of the day. All right, before we get into that, you guys probably already know, and the 5 headlines now. If you haven't yet subscribed to Lions Talk Live, please consider doing so. We're making that march for 15,700. We're about 8 subs away from it, give or take. So if you can assist with that, that will surely would be thankful. Also, you got a half second of time. It doesn't cost even a dang dime. Reach on down, hit the thumbs up button, hit the like button, hit all the buttons. We try to get every episode of the show between 200, 300, 400 or more thumbs up or likes. Last but never least, if you are considering either now, in the future, maybe next year, I guess that is the future, buying or selling property anywhere in the great state of Michigan where I reside, can be commercial property, vacant land, new home, old home, all things in between, go ahead and give me a call or shoot me a text. A number of you do, 269-998-2384. Give me a call, shoot me a text. I'll use over 30 years in the industry, save you time, hassle, money. Make sure nobody's overcharging you. And yes, in slower times in the industry, that does happen more and more. So you want somebody to know what numbers you're looking at and why somebody's charging you something, on top of being able to pick apart the issues with the house, problems with the house, and how to protect yourself. All right, all that done, set out of the way. Let's get this show rocking, rolling, moving forward, analytically going into 5 headlines now. And I'm going to guess, even without looking in the comments section, I understand, man. People get, upset, and I can tell you, whenever the season ends, whenever there's a big loss, an emotional loss, how it impacts the viewership. This is true when I used to, be a reporter for newspapers. You can see the number of papers sell go down, yada, yada, yada. There will also be some people today, I'm sure, they're going to blame the officials. We'll talk about that. I have a different view on it, at least from what my eyes were telling me with the officials. Hey, it's a thankless job being a coach or an official. We'll get into that probably during the main topic of the day. All right, 5 headlines now. The road to the playoffs just got a lot harder, but it's here. 6 other takeaways. A to Z Sports, Mikey Payton with this one. There is a road. We get it. The Lions are not mathematically out. They would probably, in my opinion, have to drop 2 games to be out of the playoffs officially. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it'll be 3. I think, though, for all reality, if you drop 2, man, it's going to be pretty dang tough. 1 probably still gets you in. When looking at the upcoming schedule, and let me pull this up on the screen, before I go all the way into Mike Payton's breakdown of the story and everything else in between. Let's look at the playoff push here. Let me get this off the screen. We get it. The Cowboys, probably if you looked at them a month ago, they looked like they were chopped cheese or whatever you want to say. Not so much anymore. I give Dak Prescott, I didn't watch a lot of the game. I watched some of it, and I thought, you guys probably understand the Chiefs defense is not strong. And you know what? Dak Prescott's been on fire this year. He might be not a real strong contender for the MVP, but he's probably at least in the conversation. You get past that, you could argue at this point the LA Rams are the best team in the NFC. And let that sink in for Lions fans who want to say skip those picks and get after it. We've talked about it over the last few years on the show. My opinion is not that of Brad Holmes. I would have last year and this year skipped some picks. I know the Duke Crews mentioned that as well, and try to get some people. The only thing I've gone on record and saying in my career running teams, etc., if I'm going to trade you these high picks, I'm going to try to get from you, use NFL terms. If I'm going to give you a 1st and 2nd round pick, I want your 7th and 6th back in return. Why? Have the same amount of picks, still trust in the scouting department. But you know what? Maybe then we gamble on a few people. The Rams have hit on a lot of their gambles. Already mentioned this a little bit with the Steelers, Vikings, and Bears. Lions can't overlook anybody. Can't say, hey, we're just going to walk into the gym and beat somebody or the field. But I do think they have a pretty good opportunity with those 3. It's not going to matter, as Mike Payton points out with this one. You've got to treat every game like it is a playoff game. Talk about Jared Goff, started the game 0 for 3, didn't even get a passing yard in the first quarter. And then he threw 15 straight. Sadly, there would have been a 16th, but Jameson Williams dropped that on 4th down. I know some people are going to say it wasn't a spot-on throw. You know what? That's a catchable ball. And I think Jameson Williams would say the same thing. He had a pretty good game overall, but I think we'd also agree could have been even better. Goff, some Lions fans hate him. I understand that. I just don't know if you're going to be able to bring in anybody better, especially now that he's got the contract. Goff finished, as you guys know, 20 out of 26, 256 yards, and probably had a few others that could have been gone his way with a little bit different structure. Did have one big run. Dan O'Damas was wrong about the numbers, but said he would have one big run in that game, and he did have a pretty big run. I think that was a career long for him. Lions made a bit of a mistake. I'm throwing this one in on my own here with Terrion Arnold. I want to throw it in, maybe even do a later in the day video, but you know what? I'm just going to throw it out here. I thought the way he was playing and where the Packers schematically were trying to go after us deep down the sidelines, they clearly identified they had some matchup problems with Amik Robinson. I think he's a good corner. I don't think he's a good outside corner. I think he's more middle of the field, slot type stuff. The Packers did a great job, in my opinion, isolating him and taking advantage of it. I was surprised the Lions didn't make an adjustment to that during the game. Yeah, aggression kills. We all probably understand today. Last year, MCDC rolled the dice on 4th downs, left, right, and center, and you know what? And he hit them. And again, talking about it during the opening monologue, in my opinion, that was the difference of the game. The Packers found a way to make the 4th downs work. The Lions, unfortunately, found a way to make it lose. There are going to be people that are going to point out officiating errors with this game. Just to get this out of the way real quick, I thought the touchdown catch on 4th down where they thought he bobbled it, my opinion, does not need to be your opinion. I thought the first foot was down and then the second one came down before the third step got out of bounds. If that's how you view it, it's a touchdown. If you think that first one or there was any kind of bobbling of the ball, then you know what? It shouldn't have been. Going to St. Brown real quick on this one. He's probably going to be out a week or two. Make your peace with it. The Lions are going to have to find a way to overcome no St. Brown, no Sam Laporta, no Graham Glasgow. You guys get it. They're beat up. But you know what? Tom the Killer Kennedy, that guy might be I was watching it unfolding before our eyes, and he might actually not be a bad replacement for St. Brown just because they are very similar. I'm not saying Kennedy is anywhere near St. Brown's ability level, but as far as their route structures, their strengths, what he likes to do, and how Jameson Williams is going to become the number one wide receiver probably for the Lions for the next few weeks, that probably is going to open up Tom Killer Kennedy, and I think you can take advantage of it. We'll get into that, I'm sure, between now and next Thursday against the Packers. All right, getting out of the next of the 5 headlines now. I already kind of mentioned this a little bit. There's going to be further tests. This is where I'm going to go with this. Further tests, and we'll probably know today or tomorrow what the fate of St. Brown is. The one nice thing is he did walk off the field. You guys watched it on his own. A bunch of you guys are at the game were sending me videos of him popping out of the tunnel, from time to time, looking at the team. He's, it's not broken. That's the good thing. Now, could there be any kind of real ligament strains? That's probably where I'm going with it. Maybe a high ankle sprain. He got rolled up by 2 of his teammates, unfortunately, from behind. I get he's a warrior. I get he's tough. I get he'll try to power through it. He'll ask for the secret sauce, whatever he can to get back on the field. I think if it was just, maybe an upper leg injury, he'd be able to get through it better. My anticipation, though, he's out against the Cowboys. And then since you have the pseudo bye, he's probably back against the Rams. We'll have to wait and see, though. Critical 4th downs show how Detroit Lions fortunes have flipped. Detroit News. Let's see, Rainer Saban with Detroit Free Press Free Press, man. I guess he's working for the Free Press and the News. Anyways, maybe I messed that one up when put on air. We get it, though. The game ultimately, and we've seen a whole lot in the last month, MCDC just looks like a guy at the casino trying to get back his money that he's already lost. I can only throw my thoughts out as a coach, and I'll just use this one example. There was one time the Lions had, I think it was a 4th and 2.5, maybe you could say 4th and 3, and they ran the ball. The problem I have with that is if you're going to go for it on 4th down, I think you've got to put it in Goff's hands. Why? You were having success moving the ball through the air. You were not having much success on the ground. It just looked like stubbornness to me. Now, I'm not trying to say this as a coach. I'm trying to be analytical as a reporter and be fair here. The Lions just weren't getting much push, and the Packers, where's their strength? In my opinion, it's that front 7, and especially that linebacker core. I don't think their secondary is very athletic. I do think that front 7 is incredibly athletic. I get everybody wants to establish a running game, but from time, you have to play to your strengths. I thought when the Lions went big, 6 personnel offensive linemen or 4 wide receivers, you were able to take off some of that strength of the Packers and you were able to spread them out while getting people open like Kennedy. Hey, be fair, Tesla, Jameson Williams, amongst other people. I did like when they lined up Gibbs as a wide receiver and caused some issues there. I was surprised on the fourth downs they didn't do more of that. They kind of went back to, hey, let's get their best defenders back on the field and try to run against them. That's just my opinion. Does not have to be your opinion. Lions Jameson Williams makes a tough admission after loss to the Packers NFL on clutch points by Steve Silverman. Paraphrasing here when talking about it, Jameson Williams felt like he could have done more. And I'm not going to play the video. I'd have to load it, and I didn't have that much time this morning. Sorry, guys. But he felt like he could have done more. He understands he's going to have to step up if St. Brown can't go. And he's right. He's going to get his first real opportunity in the NFL to become a number one wide receiver. Lions have some strengths here with him. Tesla, if he emerges, you know what, maybe to get some deep route shouts with him. I thought he did show a little bit more separation on his in patterns or crossing patterns as well. But Jameson Williams understands that drop on fourth down was big. Goff hit him, maybe not perfectly, but it was definitely catchable by NFL standards. And unfortunately, J-Mo, J-Pow, J-Wow has had some drops in recent weeks. You could even argue over his NFL career. He cleans that up. This might be a golden opportunity for him to break out. I don't know if it will help us get to the playoffs. We'll have to see on a week-to-week basis, but this is an opportunity for him to grow, develop. What I do like is his accountability he offers when talking to reporters and, on the mic or whatever. He understands he let the team down, per his words, not mine. I'll throw this one quote of his out there. Quote, I dropped it. I should catch that. We get a first down if we do. We don't have to kick a field goal. Maybe we get 7 instead of 3, so I was just beating myself up on that big play. I understand, man. Every athlete, every coach is the same way. I have no doubt Dan Campbell probably didn't get much sleep last night or in the last month because of some of the play calls he makes. That's sports. And everybody who's ever not played or never been a coach or GM, you're never going to get everything right. But what I'm pointing out here with Jameson Williams, I think he keeps maturing. I get he still makes some mistakes. People are going to come after him for hugging the goalpost. I just don't think that's that high on the pantheon of things. Did it cost us a point? Yes. Does he need to learn from that? Yes. But now he's got his feet in the fire. If St. Brown is down a week, 2, 3, whatever it may end up being, this is his opportunity to really grow and shine. And we all know he's got potential. If he can bust through that potential, whether it's for this season or the rest of his career, I think he's going to be vastly better for it. Last of the 5 headlines now, studs and duds. J-Mo elevates play, struggles in the trenches cost Lions. Detroit Lions and SI, let's see, Emmett McCosby with this one. All right, let's go through the studs and duds per their thoughts. Studs, Jameson Williams. I agree. Yes, he had a drop, but you know what? You can see his speed changes the game. I might not have liked all the route structures they used with him or the route trees they used with him, but at the end of the day, he had a pretty big game, and he was a saving grace for the Detroit Lions, keeping us in the game. Finished with 144 yards, did have the one big drop, did score, but you could just see his speed kills. And again, speed is just one of those things you can't teach. Sort of like height. You either have it or you don't, and he's got tons of it. Duds, Yodi, maybe like the 3rd or 4th straight week. Just trying to be coach mode here. We get it. Last week, he got roasted in the first half. The Lions did make some schematic changes to the offensive line, trying to help him out last week, the second half, and I thought they did a pretty good job with it. But into yesterday's game, here's what I'd say. You could see where he was giving up pressures to Parsons amongst other people. Just couldn't block, couldn't pick up the blitz, and I'm trying to be as positive, Pete, as I can be. The problem is Yodi just is not a starting offensive lineman in any level, way, shape, or form. Probably a little bit better in the run blocking than he is the pass blocking. The problem is he can't run on every down. I know there are some people are going to say we should have ran more. You just weren't having much success. I thought the Lions were at their best when you spread them out and threw it all around. That also being said, I don't know if there's another better option for the team right now. Maybe when Frank Ragnow comes back, you move Glasgow back over to left guard. Maybe that helps, but I also didn't think he played very well last year at left guard. Maybe this year will be different. This is where opinions change. So, Silverman has Amik Robinson as a stud. I would say I thought his performance was kind of duddish, but that is my opinion. He points out that he did a pretty good job overall on Christian Watson. Did have one blown coverage on him on a key third down that led to a touchdown. Is what it is. Dud. Aiden Hutchinson. You didn't hear anything from him this week. Last week and the week before, you could say the trend is kind of turning down on Hutchinson. I understand he's going to be double teamed. I understand he's going to get chip blocked. I understand he's going to do all these things. According to this reporter's opinion, not my opinion, Hutchinson just didn't impact the game. 0 stats really the week before and this week against Green Bay. Yes, I understand the week before they're going to say he set a team record with 6 pressures or hits on the quarterback, whatever it was. But at the end of the day, did he get to the quarterback? No. Did he do a whole lot in the game that affected the game or changed the structure of the game? The one thing I would say in Hutchinson's defense, I think I was talking to the Sarge, Tony Libretto, after the game about it. When I watched the Packers help free up their defensive line, they do a lot of stuff, like most teams, from a schematic standpoint to try to help somebody get open. There was like one time with Micah Parsons, and here I don't have obviously something to do it on the screen, but he lines up wide outside, and they loop him all the way in to take on the center. Because of that, he's got a free shot on Goff. So when he loops over, you have another lineman loop in and take away the blocking assignments that we're supposed to pick up Parsons. And because of it, they don't negotiate it well. They don't communicate it well, and Parsons gets a free shot. The Lions don't seem to really have any kind of formations like that where they try to help Hutch or anybody else. It's pretty much bully ball, push your guy in the backfield, try to win one-on-ones. It is what it is. I guess we could do a separate video on this, but Aiden Hutchinson, whatever you want to say, the last couple of games, he's been pretty silent. All right, all that done, set out of the way. Let's go over to the main top of the day. And, I get some of you guys going to have your feelings. I'm not telling you it's wrong to have them. I don't walk into anything thinking I'm going to lose. So we've got 5 games left. I think we've got 5 opportunities to shine. I'll use this analogy when talking about what I'm going to talk about with the next 5 games. In my opinion, yes, the playoffs are here for the Detroit Lions. You've got to win out or at least win, 90% of them. Maybe you can drop one more and make the playoffs. Talking to like the team I currently coach, the last 3 years, we've won something stupid like 95% of our games. At some point, that's not achievable, especially when people graduate, move on, in life, etc., or whatever it may be. So the Lions last year, they won 15 games. You guys get it. If we maybe don't have all the turnovers or all the injuries, we probably make a run of the playoffs. The year before that, you obviously had a real good run in the playoffs. At some point, though, you get a little snake bitten. People get a little bit older. You get beat up. The schedule gets tougher. A lot of metrics for sure to break down. So you're going to have to teach people to go into new positions, do things. Again, referencing the team I coach, I got a whole lot of people right now that are putting in work, but they're going to have to learn new roles on the team. You look at this year's Detroit Lions team, I see a lot of similarities. You're seeing different people on that defensive line and offensive line. Maybe we should talk more about the offensive line that have to step on up. Frank Ragnow, hasn't been back all season. Yes, I understand he's coming back, but he hasn't been back prior to whenever he steps down the field. That means somebody else had to step up in a big role and try to win it. Zeitler, you guys get it? Ratledge is playing through a neck stinger. He's got a pinch compressed nerve. You can see he's in pain every snap, every play of every game. That's a heck of a way for a human to play football. He's doing the best he can. Christian Mahogany broke something within his lower leg. So you know what? Now you've further exacerbated the problem, and yet another person has to step up and perform. That's no small, easy task. And the Lions, while they're incredibly competitive in a lot of the games, obviously they're just not winning some of these games. Go back to the recent games. The Philadelphia Eagles, could they have won that game? Absolutely. Green Bay? Absolutely. Week 1 against Green Bay? Absolutely. You look at the Chiefs, could they have won that game? To some degree, yes. I'd say, some degree no too, but, I understand. The Minnesota Vikings, probably the biggest game they're going to regret on this year's schedule. They, in my opinion, should have won that game. But again, what were we just talking about? The changes in the offensive line, that really killed that particular game from them. The Minnesota Vikings took advantage of weakness, and they just doubled down on it throughout the game. Lions here, though, they've got 5 games to get into pay dirt and to get into the playoffs. There are some going to say, hey, start focusing on the draft. Even when we get there, not going to win. That can be your mantra. That can be your way of thinking. I'm not telling you it's wrong if that's what you want to do. My opinion is you go out and you win every game you can. You don't ever turn down wins. If there was one game left in the season, we know we're not getting the playoffs. Maybe at that point I try to just say, hey, we're not going to win it. We'll play for draft status. But that's about the only way I'll do it. It's just my personality. You play to win every game you can. That is the bottom line of this industry, especially at the professional level. You've got guys that are trying to secure their jobs, whether you're as a coach, a player, or whatever else. When trying to look at the Lions, I think we all agree there's some strengths here. There are some weaknesses here. And probably, unfortunately for the Lions, in my viewpoint, the biggest weaknesses are both of your lines, the defensive line and offensive line. I was surprised yesterday the Lions gave up so much on the ground to the Packers. The passing attack, I figured, we just can't get to the quarterback that well. So you're going to ask guys on an island to guard for 2-3 seconds. The thankful part is they got to Jordan Love a little bit more than they did to Jameson Winston. They didn't get sacks, but they got pressure on him. I want to say, but I don't officially know, that Love probably had on average 2.5 to 3 seconds. That's a long time for a quarterback and receivers to get open. The people are going to bring up Liam the Dream McNeil is basically your primary defensive end opposite Aiden Hutchinson. I actually thought he showed more improvement. There were a couple times he actually got hits on Love. Not enough to disrupt plays. And yes, that half second I always talk about as a coach or on this show with you guys, that half second showed up, or even a quarter second. He gets there, Liam McNeil or Hutch, a quarter second faster. They hit, they will blow up a play. They're not getting that quarter second or half second though, and therein lies the problem. Should Brad Holmes have made trades to try to get more pass rushers? I think just about every Lions fan right now would say that answer is yes. If you gave up a bunch of third-round picks to go get Tesla, you should have gave up some picks to, basically get Phillips from the Dolphins or somebody else, especially if Phillips leaves the team after the season, you don't resign, you're getting a third-round pick back. It may not be the same, but you guys understand where I'm going with it. I mean, you're splitting hairs with it. Whole lot of blame to go around. Where was it going to go from here? The only thing I can say is the Lions control their own fate. Again, bringing this up here, the playoffs are here. They need to do everything in Mother Earth to win this game against the Cowboys. I don't know if there's really at this point, unless Frank Ragnow does come back and he gets St. Brown back against LA, that's probably going to be the toughest game out there on planet Earth for them to win. I just think we talked about it even before the New York game and the Green Bay game. LA's just got some real athletes on that D. Maybe you can bully ball them a little bit. We'll have to wait and see. But I think if ever the Lions need to win, it is Lions versus Dallas this upcoming game, and then wait and see. Even if you beat Dallas, you got a tough go of things because you've got 4 games at that point. You need to win 75% of those last 4 games if you beat Dallas, and then you get into the playoffs. All right, Kurt Steele will be here in like 2 blinks, so I'm going to get through the comment section as best I can. Hopefully everybody had a phenomenal holiday yesterday on Thanksgiving, even though you probably feel a certain way after the Lions lost. Bo, good morning, Duke Crew. Crazy times we live in, exclamation point. Woo, back at you. Big morning, coaching crew. That was a rough one yesterday. Safe to say, stay safe on those roads. Nasty. Yeah, I've heard my brother Tim went out and shoveled my mom's driveway and what do you want to call it? Crosswalk and everything, and said, yeah, it wasn't the greatest. Crazy they are, says Kerry. David, I thought our offensive line did okay, better than I would have guessed. No Graham Glasgow, no Chris Mahogany, and no St. Brown was a lot. We have 0 pass rush. I agree on all facets of it. Gary, 0 pass rush is on Brad. Probably accurate. Henry Moore, good morning, Coach Dan and the Duke Crew. What a team. What a podcast, exclamation point. What a time to be a Lions fan. Woo! Good to see you, Henry, as always. Jessica, what do you got? Anyone know how long Amon-Ra St. Brown is out? Nothing official yet. Probably no later today or tomorrow at the latest. Detroit Matt, good morning, Duke Crew. Realistically, got to go 4-1. I would agree. Win the next 5 games, but I think winning 10 might get us into the playoffs, but we got to get healthy and take care of the Cowboys, who are looking good. Yeah, and again, give credit where credit's due. Dak Prescott is leaving that team all over the place. He is a MVP front runner, maybe not in the top 3, but I think he's at least on the list this year. He's moving that ball around and playing pretty dang well. All right, let's see. Trey, what do you got? Detroit, man, I was about to say the same thing. The good part is I do believe we can beat the Cowboys, Steelers, Vikings, Bears, Rams. No way. Okay, we'll take that. And with that being said, let's get over to our special guest of the day. You know him, you love him. He's the host with the most. Let's bring over Professor Coach Steele. Professor, there are a whole lot of Lions fans and some sort of feelings this morning. What can you do to make them feel maybe a little bit brighter in the holidays?
It's a game. I will say that. I thought it was going to be a tough game. I thought it was going to be a close game just because of the fact that you look at our offensive line playing a backup center, backup guard. I think the best news is that we know Ragnar will be back here shortly. So we can get that offensive line settled down a little bit. Hopefully Amon-Ra won't be down long. I think the biggest takeaway from yesterday is that we got to get the secondary fixed. I don't know what's going on with Shep and his adjustments the last couple of games where it seemed like the team was making adjustments and playing better when the no-name guys were in there than the guys that, we actually were counting on. So I'm looking at this like, got to fix this. Got a few things to tighten up. I don't think the sky's falling, but it's very close. You know what I'm saying? We can't lose anymore. I think maybe one game and that's it because the NFC is such a tight, you know what I'm saying? Right? Even our division is still tight. So there's still a path for the postseason, but you know what I'm saying? It's very tight now. You kind of back yourself into the corner. You can't mess up the details now. You have to be all over it complimentary football the rest of the way. So the only good thing I can say right now is that, man, we had a hell of a Thanksgiving dinner yesterday. So, that's the big thing, man. Be thankful for stuff that you have. And I will say this, you can't, like I did this for years, Lions fans for years. We love our team, especially now that they're winning, but you can't let it affect your life in such a negative way where it overtakes everything. Because I did that for years. Like Lions would lose and like I'd be in a mood for the rest of the day, for the rest of the weekend, for a whole week. Right. And I would take it out on my family and they didn't deserve that, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm getting so upset over something I can't control. I can love my team and I can be disappointed when they don't win. But in the grand scheme of things, it's just not that something that I can control. So I can't get that upset about it.
I remember when I first got into coaching, to bring up, kind of further onto your point, when we would lose the game, oh man, the next 48 hours was rough for me, man. I just couldn't wait to get back on the field, coach again, just try to get that stink off you. Speaking about stink, the Lions have got a little snake bitten with St. Brown out. What would you say? Let's assume he's going to miss a week or so, but use yesterday as an example. How would you rate the Lions offense without St. Brown, without Glasgow, and without Laporta? What are your thoughts?
Man, they hung in there tight. They put up 24 points on a very good defense without all those guys. Here's my thing. It looks like the opposite of last year. Last year, it was the defense with guys from Home Depot. This year is the offense with guys. But who are our tight ends yesterday?
I got no clue.
Like, geez, man, like these guys, man, we rode up on Lowe's and you know what I'm saying? Say, hey, get in the truck. You know what I'm saying? Hey, can you give us a few snaps? Can you block somebody? I mean, between that and our offensive line, now Yodi, he can play. He's up and down. You know what I'm saying? You can have some solid, some solid games. He's just not a long-term starter.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Cologne played well. I mean, you look at most of that game where Goff had decent time, 20 for 26, decent time to throw the ball. They settled down. They still gave up 2.5 sacks to Micah Parsons. Man, he was a game record yesterday.
He is,
man. Yeah, he is. He is what it is. I still wouldn't have, and I still like paying our homegrown talent. But and LL brought this up on our show. We're not having our live show today. It's going to be a recorded show because we want to do our typical post game show. But there's a guy who's missing on the back end of our defense, man, who is really, really showing up in the stat sheet where we can't slow down these teams, man. And that's Kirby Joseph. Kirby Joseph is a missing piece, man. We need that guy in the back end of our defense, especially if you're not getting any pass rush. Like, if you're not getting any pass rush, man, you're just asking those guys to go out there and play a man coverage forever, and that's just not a good sign. I was disappointed with Shep yesterday.
It's going to be something the Lions fans have been talking about since the preseason with the draft, with free agency, and then going to the trade deadline. The pass rush. What do you think the Lions can do this season? I get maybe in the offseason they'll do something, but what do you think they can do this year? What would you do to try to get more pressure on the opposing?
You got to start bringing some guys off the edge. You got to bring some secondary guys. You got to blitz a linebacker. You got to, it's just, and we've done that. I just don't understand why we stopped doing it. Like, we're not making the adjustments. Like, okay, we're not getting the organic pass rush with the front four. Bring a linebacker, bring Anzalone, bring Jack Campbell, bring Derek Barnes. I know you want to try to keep Brian Branch in the secondary for some places because of how he covers, but you got to blitz that guy. That he's an excellent blitzer. Like, and he gets people to the ground. So, I don't know if you just don't. I know Harper's, he's been playing as well as he can, but you just don't trust him on the back end to blitz. Brian Branch, I don't know, but you have to start bringing somebody. Hell, blitz Amik Rob, somebody. You have to get you look at yesterday, the last 2 weeks, we've had quarterbacks just sit back in the pocket and pick us apart because we're not getting any organic pass rush. So, I don't know if it's lack of stunts and twists or whatever that we were doing last year, but it just makes me seem like, what's going on with Rodgers, man? Was he the right call for us as a defensive line coach, man? Like, what's going on, man? Like, it's not, whatever it is just not right. We're not, it's the timing and the rhythm is off on both sides of the ball right now, and there's no complimentary football being played.
Well, I want to talk about a few positive things because I get everybody's going to be in a certain kind of way with their feelings, and just it's not my nature. I say this all the time on the show. I don't care what it is in life. I don't ever walk in thinking I'm going to lose or it's all doom and gloom. I can be falling out of that airplane at 20,000 feet high and say, man, I'm going to find something to land on and save the day. So here's my thoughts. Talk to me about what you saw out of Tesla, Jameson, Williams, and Gibbs.
Oh man, those guys, man. We got a good young core, man. You got 3 good young players that that stepped up yesterday. Of course, J-Mo, man, he took his game to another level yesterday. St. Brown went out and he stepped it up, man. Tastes live, nice touchdown grab. And what the sneaky thing is that if you look at that play, Jameson Williams was supposed to go across the end zone, but it was clogged. So he ticked back out to the corner, and that took the other defender with him. So that left Tesla wide open in the end zone. So I love Jameson Williams' game yesterday. He was getting into it a little bit with Nixon, man, but he was taking Nixon's lunch money, man. He was because he just couldn't carry him across the field. They tried to match him up one-on-one against J-Mo, and J-Mo was just taking his lunch money, kind of the same way that Christian Watson was taking Amik Robinson's lunch money. But but you look at this game, man. I have to say that I can be both disappointed and optimistic about what we have, because you look at the pieces that we were missing, and we still played a pretty solid game on offense, man. 24 points against that defense, one of the top scoring defenses in the league. I think they only give up like 19 points a game. So we went over what they usually give up, man. It's encouraging. Like, if we can get on rhythm on both either side of the ball, especially on the defensive side of the ball. That's the kind of off rhythm right now. But I love what I saw out of those three guys, man. I just some questionable play calling. You don't run on the edges against Green Bay. Their linebackers are just too fast. You run between the tackles against those guys. You saw David Montgomery was having success running between the tackles those guys. It's not going to come all at one time, but you can get some chunk plays against those guys in their run game. But seeing Tesla and seeing J-Mo and hell, even Tom Kennedy was doing good, man. Like, playing with a makeshift offense like we played yesterday, man, and they gave Jared Goff, some time to throw the ball.
You did.
I was encouraged by that, man. Like, we just something was just the rhythm was just still a little bit off. But we can't afford anything else, man, to be like that, man. Like, but it was one of those things, man, where I was just I probably scared my neighbors. They probably heard me about probably like 8 blocks down or something like that, 8 houses down from me, because I was pretty loud watching the game yesterday. But we got to get it together because we got a hot Cowboys team coming in, man. That offense is clicking right now, so we got to have that defense on point. But I believe in Shep, man. Shep got to fix it because Shep I don't know what it was, why he didn't make adjustments yesterday, but you can't play that way going down the rest of it because we got some hot offenses. We got the Cowboys and the Rams coming up, and both those offenses are. Yeah, it was great, man. Like those offenses are really good. I don't understand why they were playing Amik Robinson so much outside if Terrion Arnold was active and healthy.
Yeah, I think maybe it was before you got on. I brought that up. I thought Arnold played well yesterday. I thought from what I was watching, and again, 20 people could look at this 40 different ways. I thought when the Packers got both Robertson on the field and Terrion Arnold, amongst others, they isolated. They used typically a lot of trips formations, and they had Robinson's guy basically wheel routed up the sidelines, and especially on that deep shot, they got him isolated. And it's just a bad matchup for Amik Robinson taking on a 6-foot-something guy, and you could see it's not a good fit for him. But is what it is. Got to move forward. Moving forward. Getting ready for next week because we get it. The Lions can do themselves a whole lot of good by winning that game next week. What do you have to do to try to stop Dak and the Cowboys offense, which, as you said, they're fuego.
Rolling. They're rolling right now. You have to get pressure on Dak Prescott, man. You have to. It's imperative, man, because he'll throw. Look at the first play of the game yesterday. Got pressure, threw the ball to the other team. Do the same thing. You got to do the same thing. You can't get that guy set back in the pocket, man, because he's got 2 number 1 receivers out there in Dallas, man, with Pickens and CeeDee Lamb, man. Those guys are getting a lot of good plays, man. I mean, I don't know what it is, but we can't play our defense like we've been playing it against those guys because they would tear us apart in the pass game.
Yeah, I would agree with you because, man, asking guys to play man-to-man in the NFL really for more than 2 seconds, that's tough. Because these NFL, I don't care who you are on the depth chart of the wide receiver for any NFL team. You're athletic. You can cause separation. And the sooner that gets from 2 to 2.5 to 3 seconds, they're all going to get away. I don't care if you got Deion Sanders in his prime out there. Somebody's getting open if a quarterback has 3 to 3.5 seconds to throw. Well, I know you already talked about Branch off the corner or this guy off the corner. End of the day, can Shep fix this defense?
I think he can. You have to be able to make adjustments, man. You have to make in-game adjustments. If something's not working, you have to be able to marry up your blitz packages, man, or something. Something has to work because of the fact that if you're not getting pressure, you're going to just give up yards. And so I think that you just have to get your best players on the field. I know we like Amik Robinson, and I like Green Robinson. He belongs in the slot. Yeah, this is what it is. You play him where he's most, and he's had times here and there he's had some really good games. But even look at that Bengals game where he had an interception and he was playing Chase well, and then all of a sudden double move, chases out the gate, touchdown. Like, he's not a perfect DB, but he's a really good nickel, and you just can't. I don't think a long-term answer is having him on the outside.
Last one I got for you, question-wise, that is, and I'll let you get going and go enjoy your Friday and stuff.
Yeah, it's a tough day, man. It's hard to be positive today. I want to be so positive, man,
Sure.
because we have some good things, man. We can fix it. You just have to make the adjustments. That's what I needed to say. Okay, go ahead.
Talk about the offensive line when in regards to Ragnow, Decker, and Sewell, because I talked about it in a separate video last week. I actually thought the second half of last week's game, they played very well. Watching it this week, I thought they played very well too. Those three. The problem being, maybe Yodi and just some communications with Colin. I thought Colin did okay. What are your opinions, though?
Yeah, Cologne played decent, man. Because that's how you pronounce his name. It's Cologne, not Colin. He's not a body part. Cologne. He played very well, man. Like, of course, it was shaky at the start. Of course, he had to start out with a big sack. You know what I'm saying? But those guys play up and down. But for the most part, they have some decent depth on that offensive line. He's not Ragnow. Hell, Graham is not is not Ragnow. So, I think we move Graham back to guard, and once he gets healthy, and you get Ragnow in there, hopefully we can get Ragnow for the game against the Cowboys. So, that'd be huge. But we have some promising things coming up, man. We get some players back on offense. I don't think we're going to get Laporta back. Hopefully we can get Brock Wright back and get Amon-Ra St. Brown back for the next game. And but on the defensive side of the ball, you're going to have to start making some things to create some pressure packages, man, where you're going to have to blitz some guys, bring some bigger bodies. I think we need to move Aleem McNeil back to the interior. That's where he does his best pass rush is from the interior, not from the playing the big edge. So, yeah.
What did you think of that, though, yesterday? I thought he got some pressure, but again, he just didn't get there fast enough.
Yeah, we got that. I think that may be just the deal, man. He doesn't have the wheels to make sure that, what I'm saying, as far as on the exterior pass rush, man, he needs to be in that interior. That's where he's going to shine, because he could definitely has a quicker first step to get past the interior offensive lineman than it does to take against an offensive tackle. You got longer, wider guys that playing on the edges on the offensive line. So it could be a problem for him, what I'm saying, because of his height too.
Right. All right. Well, it is a down day for Lions fans everywhere. Why don't we go ahead and give yourself a shout out, Professor Steele, to everybody where they can find you, support you and your content during these troublesome times.
Man, you can find me on the Boss Up Ball Out podcast, man. Tune in today at 8:00, man. Myself and LL. We do our post-game wrap-up, man, kind of, recap, give our thoughts and opinions about what happened in the game yesterday. Coach Jones is not there today. He's moving. So he's moving houses. So he won't be there for the next couple of shows, but we'll hold it down for him till he's able to be settled in, and then he'll be back. But come check me out over in the Boss Up Ball Out podcast or over Sideliner Sports, man. Check me out, writing a few articles over there for that platform.
Well, check him on out. He is Kurt Steele. He's the professor, always schooling us on what we need to know. So, Kurt, you have a great day, my friend.
See you guys, man. Love you, Duke Crew. See you guys later.
We'll see you then. All right, let's get over to the Duke Crew comment section and wrap this one up. John, it was just a few weeks ago that we were worrying about losing our defense coordinator. It looks like teams have figured out his schemes. With Dak and Stafford up next, I think we have tough sledding ahead. I'll go with that. Richard, I know this. The Bears are pretenders. Could be accurate. We'll find out more later today, won't we? Leo, what do you got? Green Bay beat us the same way they beat them last year. Green Bay wanted more. Yes, I agree with that. Yeah, they got the fourth down conversions. Last year, you guys know it. We were able to get the win in large because of that. This year, it hurt us because of it. JK Parsons, freak offs parts, no mas. Okay. Bears are fake, says Anthony. The Rebel, I get it. I got a fruit fly flying in front of me. I get it. Hutch is coming off the injury, but for the money the Lions, I'm assuming, invested on paying him early, he's not making a top money impact. Who knows, man? I think he would be a lot better if the Lions could put somebody else opposite him. Now, I want to also say that by saying we talk about often, well, Hutch gets doubled or tripled or whatever. There were a lot of times yesterday, I was trying to pay attention to it. I can't say how often it happened. I didn't see it. I didn't focus my eyes solely on it. But when Green Bay passed, I saw a lot of times where Aleem McNeil got doubled. So, maybe just some thoughts here. There were some times I also felt maybe like 20, 30% of the time, the Packers were committed to having maybe 6, 7 guys block and just let 2 guys go out in deeper routes, and they took advantage of it. And they were doubling basically Hutch and McNeil. And and saying that the Bears have a better chance of making playoffs, and we do. Okay? JK, we cannot let Goff get abused. You can't let any quarterback do that. Otherwise, they're not going to be standing up very long. Thomas, Green Bay 2 passing touchdowns last 4 games. Exclamation point for yesterday. Now Dallas is no pushover, and Rams are out to thump us. We look as if we're still trying to figure out who we are as a team. Could be accurate, Thomas. Could be accurate indeed. Big D, if was a fifth wed, all be dunk. Okay, we'll go with that. Leo, no sacks again. Goff got to turn into Peyton Manning for us to make the playoffs. He's going to have to take over now. Yeah, and I thought he had a pretty good game yesterday. I thought the Lions in the first quarter maybe could have done some things differently schematically, although when you're not having success, everybody in YouTube, everybody in print media, everybody up in the stands is going to have a better idea. I mean, that's part of coaching. Richard, let's see, Hutch is constantly double-teamed and chipped. The other guys need to step up. I agreed with that. And again, pointing it out that if you go back and watch, I'm assuming the coaching film, I don't know a percentage, but I saw McNeil doubled quite a bit yesterday. Lauren Lyons, greetings, salutations, Coach Dan and Duke Crew, exclamation point. I'm just listening in today, been shake my head all night long. We didn't look bad, but didn't look good either. Yeah, I'll go with that. The Rebel, Shepard's defense is starting to get exposed. Could be. Hassani Madley, we have to talk with our veterans with experience and getting a lot of money to show up. I'll go with that with some exclamation points. Richard, the Bears would not win the division if the Lions went out, and maybe we can be number 2 in the wild card. Yeah, I think we can secure a wild card spot. It's probably going to take a whole lot of things going our way to get the number 1 in the NFC North. I just don't see that being possible, but a wild card, I do think that's possible. Big Daz, good morning, Duke Crew and Coach Dan. Worst game ever, exclamation point. Brad Holmes either gets a serious pass rusher next year or he's fired. I'm getting tired of opposing quarterbacks standing back there all day to throw. Well, yeah, I think we all are. Extreme Shaft, what do you got? The Lions are in the beginning of a 3-game losing streak. I hope not, my friend. JK, latex free. All right, don't know where to go with that, but I'll say that. Dre Day, the offense did as good as they could without Sam, and as much hate he has been getting from the coach. Glasgow was definitely needed, but still scored 24 points. Yeah, Colin, I don't know. Cologne, I actually thought he didn't do bad yesterday. Glasgow, maybe to your point, Dre Day, maybe would have done better. I don't know. Mark, Dallas is trending the right way. Their defense stepped up 2 games in a row. Yeah, and some of those additions they made at the trade deadline really have helped them out quite a bit from a defensive standpoint. I mean, the season gets done. If they make the playoffs, while getting some first-round picks and picking up the center of that defensive line, while getting some production, I hate saying it, out of James Houston, I mean, Jerry Jones probably needs some flowers. All right, Lewis Long, what do you got? I think the Lions need to start kicking more field goals than going for it and trying to play for points, and then I think we have a better chance of beating some of these teams. Yeah, could be 100%. Damian, we got no playoffs are over for Detroit as usual. Well, the last couple of years it's been usual that we've been in, hasn't it? Let's see. Perry, what do you got? When Frank can play? I don't know. That's the big question. I don't know. I know he's going to be in Detroit today. That I can tell you. Now, can he get ready by next Thursday against the Cowboys? It seems possible. I would say not plausible, but against the Rams, that seems more logical to me. Anthony, I know one thing: I will not pay $4,600 ever again for season tickets to watch play like they charge like they've won 10 Super Bowls. They can't get through the first round of the playoffs with a bye at home. Okay, Pierce. So when do I begin? When do you begin what? I guess I don't know. Sorry, Pierce, if I missed something. Honestly, Medley, Cynthia, and good morning. Please don't get upset praying. We're still there. Go Lions. Yeah, I mean, everybody handles it differently. I used to get highly upset about it. Now, I kind of roll off my shoulders a little bit more. I don't want it to affect me emotionally the rest of the day, the next day, etc. I know Kurt Steele kind of pointed that out. The Rebel 8, Shep needs to show some kind of defensive coordinator schemes and skills, probably. CJK, wide receiver Goff didn't work second time. No, but I will say this. I thought, was it last week and this week? I thought they did a pretty good job with having David Montgomery in the Wildcat. It does cause some issues, and you know what? If you can learn to better scheme that, I think you could use that not regularly, but situationally. I'd say Dolo Dynamite, it ain't going to matter if Ragnow back for playoffs. It sounds like he might not be thinking about just this year. That might be the real win for the Lions. So Dynamite, if he's going to play this year and next year, I mean, that's probably going to help the Lions ultimately. He is only 29 years old, I want to say. But it also gives you time as an organization to get in a developmental piece for the future to replace him. I do think when we look at the season as a totality, when it's over, when Ragnow retired, really caught the team kind of flat-footed or off guard. They didn't have a real good replacement option for him. And, we could say probably for the offensive line, that has impacted the season. The Rebel, good morning, Professor Steele, exclamation point. Thomas, sorry, guys, it's time to panic. Jordan Love in the last 4 weeks looked like Dan Orlowski. Yesterday, we let him look like Joe Montana. Zero pressure on Love. I don't. You can panic if you want, Thomas. It's just the only thing I can say is I'm not going to panic about it because it's beyond my ability to control. The Lions are either going to win and get in the playoffs, or they're going to lose and be home. And I get it. It's no fun if we don't make it to the playoffs, but we'll see what shakes. Pierce. One, pass rush is a joke. I think we're all agreeing with that this morning. I don't care who you are in the chat. We all probably agree there's not much pass rush. 2, Goff's safety blankets both gone, and that's a huge problem. Yeah, to your point, though, and I know Professor pointed out, I think some of you guys in the chat pointed out, the fact that he went 20 out of 26 with no Laporta, no St. Brown, a questionable offensive line against one of the best pass rushes in the league. I mean, there are a whole lot of people that don't like him, but I don't know how many quarterbacks are doing that. Let's see what else you got. Shep Flex defense hasn't been working. Offense way too predictable. Yeah, probably true on all those points. Kim, at this point, not feeling great about the Lions' play. The defense needs to step up, and they didn't. It seems like they didn't adjust. Stop tossing the ball into the backfield. Get no or negative yards. Yeah, they did have a lot of negative plays yesterday, to your point, Kim. Mark, it seems to me as if the lack of urgency with the team, we blew a lot of clock in the end of the game. Some of that's game management. Some of that comes down to your head coach or offensive coordinator for sure. JK, I get only 3 days of rest, but still in toilets and still it's toilet paper. I'm done with that anymore. Good morning, Mr. Hassing. Queen Mary, you are so right, Professor Steele. Good, Professor Steele. Thumbs up. Derek, it seems like the Lions lay an egg every turkey day. MCDC hasn't been very successful with it, has he? Lewis Long, we lost the game, but we fought hard, and that's something to build on. I'll take that. Yeah, 100%. Dynamite Holmes needs to his butt kicked. All right, I'll go with that. Silver, I think Saint out a month or so, but like the coach says, I have been wrong before. Yeah, and without knowing the particulars about what happened, it's hard to really say, isn't it? He walked off the field. I think we get that. So obviously it's not broken or fractured. Now, how long? Let's see, Michael. Good morning. Crazy Legs Goff ran for some yards. 24 yards. Who would have guessed that, huh? Thomas, J-Mo stepped up. One huge drop, though. We discovered we do have another receiver named Tesla. This could help in the long run on offense, get back to equal carries for Knuckles and Sonics. We'll see what they do, but I don't know. Let's see. What do you got? Desert, I said you can lose one. Unfortunately, that one was the wrong one to lose. However, with no elite OC, I don't know what that's supposed to be. Search and not fixing the offense line. Ragnow not here forever. We look good for 2027. Wow, we're going to skip all 26 too? Weesh. Silver, good morning, everyone. Pierce Sargent, oh yeah, Goff actually juked someone yesterday. That was glorious. Hey, maybe he's working on it. He's developing. Frank, what do you got? There is no pass rush. I think we are all in agreement on that. JK, please fix the offensive line next offseason. Thank you all asking. I think you got to focus on that and the defensive line, surprisingly. Brandon, we are missing Kirby Joseph. Could be. Mark, good morning, Silver Server. Thomas, Professor Steele, Kirby is really missing on the back end 100%. JK, can't do stuff now this season. Trade deadline, nothing happening. Good job. Yeah. And how much say did Dan Campbell have in any of the trades or not trades? I don't know. I'm guessing Brad ultimately made those choices, and there'll definitely be some questions that'll need to be answered after the season. So he does it wrong. Need draft 1 or 2. Okay, Silver Surfer. Mark Lewis, morning Mark. Ezra Gray, Lions going to need to get younger, good offensive mind for offensive coach. Plays are too predictable, and we are not playing to our player strengths. That could be accurate. Edward, I don't get why we are paying top dollar for some players when they just mid. And that's a fair question. Dynamite, Amik, and Reed getting cooked. Could be. Benjamin Brewer, it's over. Too many injuries to offensive line and no pass rush all on Holmes. All right. Lauren, I'm about to sort myself when Goff had that 24-yard scramble. Crazy legs indeed. Yeah, and he stayed in bounds on the sideline, even got a couple extra yards. Hey, he was willing to take a hit there. Pat Hutch has got to float around that way. They can't put 2-3 guys on him. Green Bay does it, and it works. Yes, indeed. They've got some pass rushers, though. JK, draft and Black Friday deals. All right, we'll see if they can draft some Black Friday deals. I don't see my friends. Exclamation! I hope everyone didn't eat and drink too much. Happy Thanksgiving weekend. Back at you, my friend, even though I know that's not really big a thing in Cairo. Pierce Brad Holmes will have to answer for the lack of moves and pass rush again this offseason. You're not wrong. That's a great, absolutely 100%. Branch needs to play close to the line and blitz more. I agree with that fully. I know Kurt Steele brought that up. I'm surprised they don't basically play him up there, 70% of the time. Pierce, Mr. Malley, good morning. Dola Dynamite, what's going? Question mark. Brad Holmes is going on. It's his fault. I'll go with that. All right, guys, we're into overtime already. I'm going to power through and try to get people on who haven't been on as much, if you guys don't mind. Silver Server, good morning, Madley. We are here. JK, let's see. I drank more than I ate. It happens, man. Damien asking for corners to cover better with no pass rushes, like asking for barbecue without charcoal. Yeah, and to your point, I think it's a phenomenal point. I don't care who you have as a cornerback. If you don't get pressure in under 3 seconds, or more ideally closer to 2 seconds, nobody's covering any NFL wide receiver man-to-man for long. JK, nah. Derek, Dear Santa, please bring me an offensive coordinator, an edge rusher, a center, and a offensive tackle. I thought the tackles played well. I mean, we can all have our different opinions, but I will just say I wasn't disappointed with the tackles. That's my opinion, though. All right, Edward, we will not make it. I hope you're wrong. Dynamite, only way to fix this is put Green Bay out of playoffs, okay? I would actually, selfishly speaking, I would actually love it if we make it as a wild card, play them in the playoffs, and beat them. Wouldn't that be something? Let's see, Brandon, the Cowboys not making the playoffs. Let's be for real. Let's knock them out then. I like it indeed. Kim, both teams had missing players, coach and play. Let's see, playing needs to call to the strengths on the field. I agree, the whole team has not found a rhythm almost all season. Yeah, we could all probably agree on that. Ludell, what do you got? Watson is scary. Okay. Let's see, Ludell Whiteside, what happened to him and Mullet? They were cut. The season's over. All right, we'll tune out. Dr. Detroit, good morning, Slappies, and back at you. Slap away. Let's see. Other people haven't been on here as much. Pat, we are not playing Smash Mouth football anymore. Could be. Carrie, I don't blame Brad for outrageous price tag players at trade deadline, but I do blame him for not getting a proven edge rusher since last season. In your opinion, he's wasting Hutchinson's season. Yeah, it could be accurate. Thomas, I just say this. I politely disagree. Any NFL cornerback should be able to cover for 2 to 3 seconds. No problem is we're asking for guys to cover. Yeah, maybe that's it. Ray Kennedy never makes the team year in, year out, but every year he gets in the game and plays good. Not very talented, but he plays with grit and heart. Should be a keeper. Yeah, might be at this point. JK, let's get Iffy back. I wonder. I don't know if we can we? I'd say it. Green Sanitation's coach and Duke Crew. Tough loss. Time to regroup and get some W's and do the best to try to make the playoffs. You don't think it's going to be easy, did you? Question mark. One pride. Yeah, it's never going to be easy, right? All right, a couple more, then I got to go. Let's see, David. Lions look like the lost team looking for confidence. Maybe at this point. Let's see, JK, Blockbuster trade, Kirby. We'll find out if they'll make a trade, maybe in the offseason. Grinder, what do you got? Not sure if Parsons had helmet to chin and a worse ground plant than Campbell did when he personalized on a sack the other week? I don't know. Sorry about that, man. Dr. Detroit, funny, where did Don B go and the Slappies today? Hey, I mean, Dr. Detroit, I get everybody's feeling a certain way, but, don't be rude to people, man. Don't be that guy because, how does that help anybody? If you want to believe the sky is always falling, be that way, but don't take it out on other people, man. That's just rude. David, wheels have come off, maybe. Joseph, good morning, everyone. What a crappy game yesterday. It happens, man. Expect looking forward to good moves this offseason. Hey, I'm a positive Pete. What can I say? Johnny Gaz, good morning. Dan and Duke crew. Exclamation point, tough Friday, huh? I'll go with that. Let's see, Miles Martin, I'm Slappy. Something but Slappy. Goff took sacks other than risk interceptions. That's something, huh? I mean, I get it. Everybody yells, man, throw the ball. But you also have to have people open to throw the ball. Otherwise, you're throwing the other team the ball. Dunkong, it's mock draft time, baby. We'll find out. Let's see. Derek, Myles Garrett doesn't need any help. Why should we pay Hutch more? That's the nature of the beast. I would put it this way, Derek, or everybody who brings that up. If you don't pay him, is he staying? Somebody else will pay him. Let's see. Gerald, Kirby is the rag now of the defense backs, reading the offense, positioning the backs, and the reads a quarterback better than anyone. Yeah, he adds a whole lot to the D. Pat Goff is one tough quarterback. He has taken some hard hits and always gets back up. Yeah, that doesn't get talked about a lot. He's been incredibly durable throughout his NFL career. Server, Goff played a tough game. He got hammered and never flinched and didn't fumble, which could have happened easily. 100%. Mike, Lions always lose on Thanksgiving. I think they won last year. Not this year, but last year. Victor, Hutch got paid. He doesn't need to prove himself anymore. All right. Great day. Server, and no turnovers is impressive against that defense. I would agree with that, 100%. Let's see. Thomas, Derek, you are correct. Derek, Thomas, its efforts aren't producing. All right. Let's see. Pat, Frank will play against Calvin Girls. I hope you are right with that. I think that would be great, wouldn't it? See, Derek, I think we end up trading a big name for some draft picks. Ooh, see what we do. Server, Dan Campbell was a disgrace. Still going when not needed, not kicking fields. Should have come out in the second half with Monty. Defense rested and could chase Gibbs easy. Monty out, Lions out. Fair enough. Miles Mark, where there's a chance, there's hope. There's hoping for a stellar ending to the season. That's the way I'm looking at it. Till the Hun. Good morning. How badly they played with no Amon-Ra St. Brown and say BST turnover call to lose by 7. Weird. I blame the defense. If they recover that fumble, it's a different game. Yeah, 100%. You take points away from one team, possibly go after it and score some more points. Oh, please. This is laughable. What is? Dr. Detroit, the only thing I'm going to say is, man, the last month you've been just Debbie Downer, man. Is your goal to come in here and chase people away? If it is, man, go somewhere else. Ain't nobody got time for somebody who's going to try to be rude to people. I don't know what's gone on with you in life, but the last month you've chased a couple people out of this chat. All I can tell you, man, is if that's your goal in life, you're out of here. You can say, well, I'll just go do it somewhere else. Then go do it somewhere else. Nobody has time for somebody to be a complete dick to somebody else. I don't like using terms like that, but you come in here in the last month, it's like you're trying to roast everybody. The Lions aren't good. Oh, the Lions are this. If you believe they have a chance, you're this, that, and the other thing. Then go watch another team. If you feel like it's all doom and gloom with Detroit, why are you watching them? And why be a less than good person to other people that want to enjoy the team? No offense, man, but you have become, like toxic. Why? Is something going on in your personal life where you feel like a bigger human being trying to put other people down? What's that say about you? That you're a dick. So, all right, on that note, if you're going to act like that in this chat, you're gone. And you know what? I'm going to call you out again, Dr. Troy. If you're going to be a dick, then get the dick out of here. Capiche? I don't like talking like this. But you know what? Don't be some jackwad that comes in trying to put people down. If you're that terrible in life where you got to get off trying to act like that to other people, you're just that bad in life. You're that miserable a person. And I'm going to tolerate it here. Treat each other with respect. You don't like the way some coach makes a call, the ref didn't make a call, the draft pick, that's fine. But don't chase other people in the chat like you own them. Like, man, we didn't win. I told you all. Great. Go cheer on another team because you have lost it, man. Bitter old man indeed. What? You didn't get what you wanted for a turkey? All your friends checked out because they don't want to listen to you? There you go, man. Go enjoy living in the hole. Go dig a hole and put your head in it and say, hey, I don't want to watch the rest of the world. But stop treating other people like it's okay to act that way. Man, do that in somebody's face and see what happens. That's what I'd say. All right, with all that done and said out of the way, if there is breaking news later today, I'll get over to you as soon as possible. Otherwise, if you'd be so kind, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit all the buttons. Take care, enjoy your life, do something kind to somebody you don't know, don't be a dick, and we'll see you all on the next Lions Talk Live. Take care, all.